us now is Senator Mike Rounds of South Dakota. He serves on the Intelligence and the Armed Services Committee. Sir, I'm glad to have you this morning. This is the sticking point. The last we heard in the reporting last night was the issue of parole, for example. You have been supportive of more funding for Israel and Ukraine, but you also say they've got to be tied to the border. At all costs, is it worth it if it sinks the whole thing?
I don't think it will sink the whole thing. I think this is actually more of a bipartisan concern. Democrats have also expressed similar concerns with regard to the fact that the southern border has to be addressed. We're really talking about the issue of amnesty and parole. And these are the same items that we've laid out now for several weeks. There are ongoing negotiations between Republicans and Democrats. They're serious in nature, and I think that they can come to a successful conclusion. But in order to get this aid package, which the president has requested, and in fact, he's asked for additional funds for funding for border protection and security. He's included that in here. And we're simply saying it will not work unless you change the policies that are in place right now at the southern border. About 77% of Americans agree with us on that issue. And we think the vast majority of Democrats quietly agree with us as well. It's a matter of getting it done in an appropriate fashion.
Yeah, and it's about time, and it's about how you get there. Let me ask you about what some of your Democratic colleagues in the Senate are saying. Dick Durbin, the majority whip, said this is a big ask, and he pointed to the fact, it's been 1986 is the last time we saw comprehensive immigration reform in this country. Senator Chris Murphy, a little bit more blunt. Let me read you what he said. I wish Republicans weren't demanding that we solve a really complicated domestic political issue in order to keep Putin from marching through Europe. Is that a point worth considering, Senator?
Well, I wouldn't phrase it in those terms at all. In fact, I think this is very doable. The American people are simply saying, look, you're asking for about $109 billion for defense purposes, but why aren't you fixing the policies at the southern border where you've had 8.4 million encounters in since Biden took office? The reality is it's a policy issue which has got to be changed, and it can be changed. And this is not something that should cause a great upheaval within the United States. This is one that should actually be a part of the package, and it's a good thing to get done. We should be defending the southern border, and in doing so, you'll get support for the entire package.
There are currently on the Senate calendar 14 days left for you guys to get this done, and you said if we carry it into next year, it will be, quote, too late and the funding will be gone. Is it realistic to get done? Really, you think from those closed-door conversations with those across the aisle, you'll get it done in 2 weeks?
I do believe that is entirely possible. And here's the reason why. We know what the aid package looks like. And the vast majority of us recognize we want to support Israel. We want to support Ukraine. And we recognize also, though, that the vast majority of the folks back home are saying, why are you sending money elsewhere when we need to fix our own southern border? But this is doable. And the issues are not that difficult. It is not comprehensive in nature. It is specific. It is amnesty and it is parole. It's those two issues.
Yeah, wow.
They're both fixable and easily within the realm of getting it done.
They are big issues. I do want to move on to...
They are.
I want to move on to Israel. And if you agree with some senators, Bernie Sanders, one of them, Chris Murphy, another one, who are saying more aid to Israel has to come with conditions. Senator Sanders has been asking for things like a freeze on settlement expansion in the West Bank, a commitment to a two-state solution, a real change in Israel's approach to the bombings in Gaza. Do you think it needs to be conditional, more aid to Israel, or unconditional?
I go back to what happened after 9/11 for us. Our allies didn't walk in and simply say, we're going to have the following conditions before we help you. And I think right now, as an ally of Israel, we have to look at that and say, look, this is their 9/11. Let's help them right now, but it's okay for us to discuss with them long-term how that support continues on.
Okay.
And if they're losing the public relations battle, then they need to be told, you may have to look at other approaches to getting this job done.
Do you think right now
Israel's... I think they are, Yeah, I think they are. I think they're very cognizant of the fact that they need to win the public relations battle as well, but they have to take out Hamas. And we should be supportive in that, but we should also be providing them advice, but not necessarily limiting it, saying we're not going to provide assistance if you don't meet the following conditions. I think that would be a mistake.
Don't condition it now. Senator Mike Rounds, thank you very much. Come back soon.
Thank you.